So I'm currently laying down at the moment, primarily because I normally create ideas, thus feel the need to rest a little bit and not be stressed out to further create more ideas. And some examples of me creating ideas includes the fact that I try to mix certain genres together. I experiment with music to figure out what styles can work together and don't work. And besides that, try to find new ways to play an instrument in order to make the music more interesting. And this goes back to many things, like the fact that I sometimes enjoy promoting to more audiences when making music. So, of course, staying with only one subgenre of a preferred genre isn't enough for me to enjoy music or any preferred interest. So the idea of being expansive and the expansive knowledge which comes from the EN combo is part of who I am as a person. I might like one thing and I might have a deep interest in that thing and prefer it deeply, but on the side of that main interest, I spread into other interests. Like, let's just say you like one genre of music, but it's connected to 30 other genres. You sort of get into those 30 other genres too, even if you still deeply prefer that one main genre. And this goes back to the ever so expanding mind that I have, which is why, even if I deeply have one interest, there's other things going on in my mind at the same time that I'm also having a fascination about. Like, in terms of history, I can read about American history, but if I can find a similar country that might have gone through some experience that could be similar, I would enjoy reading about it, because then I could slightly relate to it, because it's already similar to what I already know. An example would be, you could relate the expansion of America from east to west to the Turkic-Mongol history of expanding, as far as the fact that they went from one side of the world, or their part of the world, to the other, and then some other group of people are doing the same thing, just in a different region. And another example could be the fact that America has had a civil war, so I can slightly relate to, per se, a civil war that was probably going on within the last 200 years, maybe for a similar reason. So it becomes slightly interesting to find an idea that connects to another idea, which is part of the whole mind being ever so expanding. So, in terms of an interest, I could have an interest in, per se, investing in something, but within the business world, I'm not just investing in that particular thing. I can take what I know from experience from the past investments in, per se, subject 1 and apply it to subject 2. So, in the future, I could theoretically have more than one business that operate within each other that make money. And I feel like that is part of having an ever-expanding mind, having your own interest, and thinking deeply about yourself from within yourself, which goes back to introvertive perception and the expansive mind being extrovertive intuition. And most of what I'm learning as far as understanding all of these types, it's only been a month worth of research. And when I mean a month, I mean a tiny bit every day reading into it and somehow just sort of figuring out what it all means from a little bit of research. I've not even spent 2 months even being aware of the abilities that this all is. I kind of took a test a year ago that I've mentioned before, but then I took another one because I kind of didn't remember, and then it ended up being about the same one as far as the lettering, ENTP, and then I realized, maybe this means something, and then I read about it and connected it to other things I know. And I feel like it actually turns out to be quite accurate. Even though these are simply archetypes, there are stereotypical ways that people behave, but it is true that a combination of behavioral traits, after they interact with each other, do create a personality that can be resembled in more than one person. And it would make sense that other people in my career or the careers I'm trying to get into would also have a similar personality, such as the founders of Apple or anybody else. I can't really think of anybody on the top of my head.